Hunt and Hill. Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, holding down the middle of the day. Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studios. It's Hunt and Hill. Now on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Welcome in, Hunt and Hill, on a Thursday from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge Studios downtown in the capital city. I am Hunt Palmer. That is Hill, Jeremy Hill, Casey Gaines, Taylor Sharp on the ones and twos. Jay Hill, how we doing?
Doing good, man. Something to finally look forward to. A little Throwback Thursday.
Throwback Thursday coming up in 1 hour. Got a lot to pick from the LSU Florida series, and I'm excited about the one that we're going to break down at 1 o'clock, and we'll have a guest from that game at 1:15. Our Super Bowl discussion coming up in 30 minutes from right now. I want to start with LSU Florida before we get to some discussions about what's going on in Norman, Oklahoma right now, which I'm excited to get your take on in 15 minutes. But let's start with LSU and Florida. And this is a series that has taken place every year since 1971. LSU's permanent opponent from the East. One time Kentucky was as well, and that's since rolled off. But LSU plays Florida every single year. You played in the rivalry. You've been in the building, and you understand what this game means. Do you like the fact that LSU plays Florida every single year from the SEC East?
No, I do not like that.
Okay, that shocks me.
From a competitive standpoint, yes, I love it. But from a fan perspective, why can't we draw Vandy? Why can't we draw
Jeremy,
South Carolina?
This is why this show is going to work. That's what I'm talking about. That is a rational, sensible answer. Yes, we should play Vandy. Guess who's competing? They're not going to get it, but guess who's competing to win the SEC West this year? Ole Miss. Guess who they play every year? Vanderbilt. That is crap. It just is. It just is. And, you got Hester who will look at me and he'll say, no, we got to play Florida. And then you got your fans who say, you want to be the man, you got to beat the man. No. If you want to be the champion, I'd rather play Oklahoma State and beat them by 40 than have to play Alabama again. I'd rather open the door than try to run through it while it's still locked. That's a brilliant answer that I never hear from players.
I think you could start probably with who Bama draws every year. Who would you say? Tennessee? So we got to deal with Florida, who's they were a powerhouse of the late 2000s and coming into the 2010s, and obviously a ton of guys in the NFL year in and year out. Yes, I love the rivalry. Yes, I wouldn't mind playing Florida every couple years, but every year it's just a tough draw. It's going to take a lot out of you. That's going to be a physical game. You're going to have to get up for that game. It takes a lot of emotions to get up for Florida. So, yeah, I love the rivalry, but just not every year.
That shocks me. And I think that we're in the minority. I think that LSU fans prefer this game. They want to see the rivalry. They don't care that there's a potential loss there. I guess that's what makes it fun to some people is the intensity and the big game atmosphere, and that's all well and good. I've long stated my entire time on the air, my only concern and my only interest is that LSU wins championships. And if that means that we're playing Vanderbilt and South Carolina and Rice and Tulane and we get to play in the playoff every year, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
If it means we're losing to Florida because the SEC makes us play it because Alabama and Tennessee are attached to the hip and Georgia and Auburn are doing their thing, that doesn't make any sense to me. And I don't want that to be the case. Now, it looks like that's all going to be thrown in the trash can when you expand the conference by 2 teams, but not my favorite. I'll go ahead and tell you that.
Yeah, I can't wait till you get a little Texas, a little OU, a little Big 12 defense in the SEC. I'm sure they're just going to have the time of their lives as you see these offenses. Everyone's gearing up to have high-powered offenses. All these quarterbacks are playing 7-on-7 since the age of 10. So that's where the SEC is going. So I'm excited to get a final change-up, to get some new blood, some fresh blood in here to beat up like A&M's been doing for the past decade almost. So I'm excited, man, to get Florida finally kind of off the schedule for every season.
The vast majority of our preseason questions have been answered negatively. We were curious about the offensive line, didn't go so hot. Curious about safety play. Well, they've been injured a lot, and they've given up some big plays, especially against UCLA. Not great. Questions about first-year coordinators. Well, hit or miss here or there. Sometimes good, sometimes not so good. At this point, you've lost 3 games. Iffy. Questions about what is John Emery is he going to be able to play? No, he hasn't been able to play. You got injury bugs. But one question that we did have throughout the offseason was the play of the linebackers. And I certainly am not going to stand here after UCLA ran for $1 million and Kentucky ran for over 300 that the linebackers have been brilliant. I'm not trying to say that. But Damone Clark, in terms of leadership effort, intensity, and production on the field, has answered that question with a positive. He had 14 tackles against Kentucky. He leads the conference in tackles. He's second in the nation in tackles and has done so while leading the team, while wearing number 18. There's been a lot of negativity, a lot of it by me over the last week. I mean, I Tuesday led the whole show with they don't have anything here that they can hang their hat on. But I do think there are times where we should sprinkle in some positives. To me, Damone Clark's been a positive.
Yeah, and that's something I think we also asked after that UCLA game. Who would be the leader on defense? Who would be the guy to kind of get this group turned back around? And that was Damone. You saw his play pick up ever since that game, just week in and week out, continue to make tackles, continue to run sideline to sideline and make plays. And last week, man, the defensive line fought hard to start with, but they just start getting pushed back. And when you got 300-pound linemen, SEC linemen who lift bench press all summer long on these 200-pound linebackers, it's just not going to be good, man. You got to get a little more push from the D-line. So I think I want to be harder on the linebackers in the run game, but, man, the D-line just got to have a little more push. But Damone played extremely well. He's got to do that week in and week out. I know I'm not worried about that part of this defense. I know he's going to bring his lunch belt and come ready to work. So that's the one bright spot I guess we can look at with this defense.
You know that Ed Ogeron, based on what he says and what his track record is, what he will do, he will continue to get up, to work as hard as he can, and bring energy every single day. That's just the way he's wired. Love him, dislike him, whatever. That's the way he's wired, and he's going to do that. And I expect the rest of the coaching staff, specifically the coordinators who are in their first chance to really make a name for themselves, to put in the work, to put in the hours, to commit, even though the season has not gone the way it is. The people you worry about are the players. Sometimes people checking out. That's something that it's a concern. But you've got to have some people in that locker room that care and that fight and that want to be out there and want to make this thing go. And I think last year you saw a lot of that from Jacoby Stevens and then some of the younger players late in the season who brought the energy and were there so that LSU could win a couple of games late. I don't have to really question at all whether or not you're going to get any of that on the defense because Damone Clark's going to bring it.
Yeah, he definitely will. And I think Coach O mentioned it yesterday. These games, these moments, you only get one Florida game to look back on, especially for some of these seniors, especially from some of these guys who are injured and some of these guys who probably are upset last year and they're going to go to the NFL. This is what you remember forever. I can never get the taste out of losing to Ole Miss out of my mouth. It just stinks. We went up there and got our butts kicked, and it never goes away. They can always have those bragging rights, and that lasts a lifetime. So you still have a chance to make a mark. You still have a chance to have some respect. We saw this team do the very thing last year when no one expected them to win. They were 28-point underdogs and found a way to win that game. So there's still a ton to play for, and respect is something that we're losing by the day. So you got to go out there and get your respect back.
If you're looking for juice from LSU on Saturday morning, usually you go to the home crowd for that, and I think that may be a bit of a stretch at this point. But there's a chance that Florida brings a little bit of that with them because of what happened last year, and that may light a fire. In this rivalry, we've seen the chippiness. Talked a lot last night about Leonard Fournette and him getting into it with the Florida team and then putting the pads on in 16 when he wasn't supposed to play and trying to get out there and do it. Maybe something pregame, something early in the game lights a fire under LSU from the opposing sideline. Is there a chance of that?
Yeah, there's always a chance of that, especially when Florida comes into town. It's bad blood. It's always going to be bad blood. You just don't like those dudes. It's a physical game. You know you're going to get something taken out of you after that week. And I would not be shocked at all. I just hope the Tiger fans come out. I know the student section is going to come out. They're going to make a lot of noise, and hopefully that can propel us to start fast. I think that's going to be huge in this game. Try to get some points on the board so Florida just can't control the time of possession and just run the clock out.
Do rivalries like this bleed over to the NFL? I mean, I think it's playful when you're on the same team, but maybe if a guy's on the other team that you played with and there's just a little bit of extra, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be you, but have you seen a situation where that's the case?
Not that I can remember.
Yeah.
Normally everyone's pretty business oriented. There's a million cameras always on and on around. So unless there's some true bad blood, which I can't really remember off the top of my head, guys are normally keeping it pretty cool.
I mean, like Hester always talks about how he ran Major right over in the 07 game on one of those plays, plowed him over, and that they locked up in the NFL a few times, and it was a laughing type of deal, like, oh, you got me back there, but I'm coming, that kind of thing. I mean, there's very rarely in the game does the significant bad blood boil over. I think it can be created at the professional level,
Yeah.
you can see some of that, but it doesn't necessarily go from Saturday to Sunday as you move up.
Yeah, definitely. No, there's definitely NFL team bad blood for sure. We could not stand the Pittsburgh Steelers. Every time they came to town, we knew it's going to be some jaw jacking, some guys talking, some late stuff after the whistle. You just prepare for stuff like that in those situations. So those kind of situations happen at the next level, but I don't know how much of it comes from the college game.
Chat's getting on you, Taylor, for the Toonses logo there behind us. Oh man, that logo, it'll pop up and someone's always going to make a comment about it. It's just they just don't like that cat.
Oh yeah,
the cartoon cat. Toonses. Oh baby.
Yeah, gotta lose a little eye of the tiger, man.
Good thing that thing went away for good. Start to the show here, LSU and Florida. Talk a little bit about the rivalry here moving forward, and certainly about the game. And we'll have Throwback Thursday featuring an old LSU Florida game here at the top of the hour. When we take this time out and come back on the other side, big story brewing in Norman, Oklahoma regarding practice availability, student newspaper, Lincoln Riley. It's a whole thing, and I kind of disagree with the media conglomerate at this point that is rallying to defend these Oklahoma student reporters. If you haven't seen the story, we'll talk about it next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer and Jeremy Hill. It's Hunt and Hill. We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, They have, and Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-3.
It's week 7 in the prep football season, and we get you started Friday night with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And then starting at 10 o'clock, it's a full 2 hours of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All right, a wild story out of Norman. If you're not familiar with it, obviously in the Red River rivalry game, Spencer Rattler struggled a little bit early at quarterback for the Sooners. Caleb Williams came in, led a huge comeback. Oklahoma gets the victory. That obviously has led to a bit of a quarterback controversy in Norman. Lincoln Riley was asked about it early in the week, who was going to be the starter for the game against TCU this week. And he declined to say. He said, we'll see how it goes on Saturday. We're going to continue to practice, work at it, and we'll see on Saturday. So essentially, there's a quarterback controversy, and no one really knows. Oklahoma has a brief media viewing of practice, and then, as LSU does and most people do, they ask you to leave, and then they go on about their day practicing. So members of the Oklahoma student paper, Mason Young and Austin Kerrite, who are the sports editor and assistant sports editor, said, hey, we got an idea. We can get a scoop here. We'll go to a building on campus, a tall building. I tried to look this up. I couldn't find it for sure. I believe it may have been a communications building on campus. And they got some binoculars and stared into Oklahoma's practice and charted the plays and determined that Caleb Williams was taking more of the first-team reps than Spencer Rattler was by about a 2-to-1 clip. And then they called Spencer Rattler's dad and got some quotes about Spencer Rattler's future. And Spencer Rattler's dad spoke with them, and they published a story giving the statistics, how many snaps Caleb Williams took, how many Spencer Rattler took, and then used the quotes. So they published that story, got a ton of views, and then Lincoln Riley abruptly shut off all media for the rest of the week. No interviews, no practice availability, no nothing. We'll see you on Saturday. I have my thoughts on this, but you've been a player. You're now on this side where you're talking about things and going to practice and looking at things. What do you say about the entirety of the situation?
I think it goes to, are they student reporters?
Yes, they work for the student paper, like the Reveille at LSU.
Then they're treasonous traitors. That's what they are, man. You can't. I mean, if you're backing OU, you want OU to win. You got to keep that in house, man. I know it's a great story. I know, you want to break some news. You want to get some clout. You want to get your name out there, but you want to give OU the best chance to win. You got to keep that under. You got to keep that under the radar until Saturday, and then pop it out and make this team prepare for both quarterbacks. That's what you ask me, though. Okay,
there's a lot of layers here, and I've been on a lot of sides of this. I've worked for a student paper. Before I worked for the student paper, I emailed LSU's Reveille's sports editor and blasted her because of a headline they had after LSU lost to Georgia in 2008. They put up a headline that said an UGA and UGA, like Georgia, an UGA-Lee loss. Jarrett Lee threw a pick six in that game, and basically on the front page of the student paper blamed the freshman quarterback for losing a game, which Georgia scored 52 points in. And I just said, that's just absolutely ridiculous. And I got an email back from her that said, and I used the term as an LSU fan, what such and such, because I had never been in media before. I was just ticked off that they did that. So I sent it, and she sent back this formal email that said, I'm not an LSU fan. I'm an objective reporter, and we felt the headline was clever and whatever. Okay, so sweet. You go to school at LSU, and all of a sudden you're now with the New York Times. It's an attitude that a lot of student media have, and it pervades to media. And I've been in the media. I was in the journalism school. I worked for the LSU student paper. But they're just starving to try to find a story and an angle and trying to make a name for themselves. And it's not, totally unjustified, but I think that it's, the attitude that many of them carry as much. And then there's this massive amount of media that's now tweeting about the story saying, oh, what a great job by the Oklahoma student reporters. Way to go. Look how petty Oklahoma looks. And that's look at, they had binoculars in a tall building and they shut down one of the top football programs in the country and all this kind of stuff, cheering these guys. And here's the deal. I just don't know that who the starting quarterback is going to be or who's injured is relevant news to be reported. I just don't think it is. And I understand the other side of the story. So this is not one of those instances where I, only see one side and the other side's wrong. But I believe that the football program does have the right to protect that information. It's a line of work that these coaches are in where they're trying to go out there and win. In no other line of work, when you're trying to go out there and win, does someone spy on you and report it? Like I'm in the insurance business. Our goal is to go take business from other people, to go win the account. We don't have newspaper reporters saying, oh, here's everything they're going to say to them. Here's what they don't know. Here's what they know. And only in football does that happen. And, you would rather have a Heisman Trophy quarterback in Spencer Rattler that you didn't have to worry about this and you're just going to go out there and beat him. But you don't. You've got a controversy. So one of the things that's to your advantage is that the other team doesn't know how you're going to attack them. And you can hide some things and make them prepare more to make it more difficult to beat you. That's something that is reasonable to have the expectation that you can do that. And you've walled off the practice facility and asked no media to come in, and now you've got guys coming over spying on you. They're spying on you, essentially. Yeah. Is there any crime involved here? No, there's not. But it just doesn't seem to me to be the right thing to do. And I understand, and I am totally supportive of Les Miles telling me, yes, P.J. Lonergan practiced, and he's going to play against Tennessee, and then P.J. doesn't get on the bus. That's fine with me. That's why I stopped going to his Wednesday press luncheons. I think they have a right to keep things secret from the other team.
Yeah, I definitely think so. And I know I was joking around calling them treasonous traitors, but at the same time, if you really cheer for your school and if you feel so passionate to write a letter, like you said, or make the title of your article something offensive with a player's name in it, that to me, it just doesn't add up. It's like you have the passion to feel offended, but at the same time, you're willing to, put the integrity of the football team out there and on the line and just give out information. It's just, I don't know. I think if you're a journalist from another school or from another program, you don't have ties to the university, then go ahead. Just get the story out, do your thing. But to me, it's a little overboard when it's your own school and it's a controversy. It's really a big deal. You got a projected #1 overall pick, obviously preseason All-American, Heisman favorite, not playing well and getting in a spot taken by a freshman who played his tail off and played sensational. So that's a lot going on for a football team. Obviously, they don't know who their leader is going to be this week. It's a big decision for Coach Riley and the crew. You got to give them time to do those things. And I think, it's a reason why he shut the whole thing down. I don't like that either, but I got to respect it because it's too much stuff is getting out at this point.
Now, Josh Higgins is taking the other side of this in the Bayou Forum chat. He says, it seems though you are encouraging biased reporting and not reporting facts, and then says journalism students are studying journalism, not school spirit. Understood. And I understand that side of it. Those school reporters, if they get wind of a sexual assault issue or, some sort of law violating or ethical breach, and it may hurt the football program, yeah, you report that. That's a significant story. I don't equate that with spying with binoculars on the football team strategizing to win a football game. It's a football game. They can't lock the door to an office building, keep everybody out, and practice football. They've got to go outside and deal with 180 people. They got to have room to do that. Now, I guess you could build an indoor practice facility to keep things safe, to keep things secret. I just don't believe. I think that Lincoln Riley is entitled to have the ability to keep things from the other team, whether that's the starting quarterback, whether that's, we're going to run a totally different formation, run different plays. Who's to say they can't get up there and run binoculars and find out, oh, my God, they keep repping this fake punt where the backup quarterback comes in and throws a reverse. Do we need to report that too? Like, where do we stop the spying on practice and reporting? I just and the other side of this that I want to get to, because you played in the NFL where y'all's practices were open. The Saints are like that as well. So I understand that, yeah, it's difficult for Joe media reporter, to glean a ton from practice. I go to practice and stay longer than the media. They're running inside run drills. I don't know what the hell they're doing. I couldn't even come on here and dox them if I tried. But I could find a fake punt or a reverse pass or something that we've put in that's very obvious that we're going to use that I don't necessarily think is necessarily to report. So my thing is, I think the football program is entitled, as they're working to win a game, for some privacy. Now, what's this other side of the coin with the NFL and practices where just about anybody can come watch?
Yeah, it's just certain things aren't talked about. I know they'll keep track of the statistics, like, hey, this quarterback went 25 for 30 today and a touchdown. And yeah, there's only so much you can get from that, though.
Right.
You're not getting, hey, they ran 2-jet radar and the back went out on a sneak route and the linebacker, they were in cover 2. It's not that detailed. They're not breaking it down to the exact play and what guys are doing, what the coaches called. It's just a generalization. And those are people who don't even work for the football team, so they have no ties to the actual team. Yes, you have a beat guy that's in there every day, but most of the people work for outside sources. They work for ESPN, they work for Fox, they work for, different websites. So for me, it's just a little different with students. If you love your school, you want your school to win, you got to keep your competitive advantage, and you kind of throw that out the window when you kind of release stories like this, and it kind of opens up a hornet's nest, really, like you said. Now what else are you guys going to reporting? Hey, this guy's injured. Hey, this guy's not practicing. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a slippery slope with them using the binoculars and trying to get those stories out. I just don't like it as a player.
I have been going to LSU football practices since 2011, so 10 years now. And I will tell you that I have, over the course of those 10 years, I had one instance where a coach came to me and was very upset that I was using my phone at practice. And so I'm aware that football coaches take what goes on at practice more seriously than probably they should. I was texting my, the girl in my life at the time, and there was nothing gonna happen in that instance where I was going to relay some sort of information that was private. And so at that point, they overstepped their boundaries. That coach did. This I don't think is. I think that it's reasonable for him to expect that things like that are not going to get out when they're behind closed doors and you're coming over the top of the binocular. So I get people in the chat who are disappointed that we're talking about Oklahoma football. But again, I think it's relevant to the sport we cover. It's something like that's happened to me every time here, and it's something that we deal with in terms of media availability all the time and a trust factor. And sometimes things are for air and for press, and sometimes they're not. In my estimation, this we're not. Now, these kids are going to get a huge pat on the back from everybody over there at Student Media. They're going to get a huge pat on the back from everybody who's got a press pass, because they love when information that is not supposed to be out is taken out due to what they deem to be, extra effort being given. I just don't think this is a big enough story, a relevant enough story to have that type of information leaked out. All we're talking about here is who's going to win this football game. Oklahoma's trying to have TCU prepare a little bit extra for what's going on, and they're doing their best to make sure that doesn't happen by gaining access that they were not granted.
Yeah, and that's the thing that still shakes me up with the students. Like, come on, guys. Like, you want OU to win. You got to give them the best chance to win, and that's not giving information to the other teams and the other schools. And obviously, it's a controversy. It's probably a terrible position for Spencer to be in, being his team and really, having the team look up to him to make plays and really deliver them this season. And playing the way he has, and having a freshman have to step up and really take charge and really play like the quarterback that OU is used to playing in that system. So it's a lot going on for Lincoln Riley. And so hopefully they get that thing figured out. But I think the elephant in the room, Caleb's probably got that job.
Probably does. And that's another thing, and we'll close this discussion with this point right here, because there's a little bit of relevance to LSU as well. We understand that players for LSU over the next couple of weeks are going to have to answer some difficult questions about their football program. And that's a distraction at times, and not something that is helps you to move forward in building a winning football program. And for Oklahoma, obviously this controversy kind of pops up, and you can really make things simple by saying the media's not going to come in. We're going to keep this between us. When they ask you questions, let's not address things now. These guys are going to have to answer questions, or would have to answer questions about all that kind of stuff, and that's why they dropped the hammered and said we're not doing interviews. It just creates a lot of just different distractions and things that don't necessarily need to be brought in. So that's my piece on what went on up in Norman. I thought it was interesting. Thought it was something that we could chat about, and we'll get back to some NFL chatter next here on a Thursday edition of Hunt and Hill.
Holding down the middle of the day. This is Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
You guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
It's no secret, the best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
On Fridays off the bench, the boys are live from walk-ons, kicking off what promises to be a fun weekend of drinking and eating, if not football, and a brand new D-Generation Dome. Off the bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
About half an hour from a Throwback Thursday. We'll have a guest from that game in the following segment. I want to tell a childhood story coming up later in the second hour as well. But this is the time of the week where we always take a look at our list remaining for teams that we think can win the Super Bowl. Mine's a little bit shorter than yours. I've got 11 teams. You've got 12 to this point. And I'm going to make at least one cut this week. We shall see. You want to start?
Oh, yeah. I'm going to start. I'm a good I may as well cut one just to start it off, man. I was feeling good about it. I was feeling, talent. They got depth. They got this. They got that. I'm going to have to get the Vikings off, man.
I've already got them off.
Yeah, I got to take the Vikes off. Just too many issues. Offensive line not being sturdy enough. A ton of talent on that roster, but man, I can't do it right now. Still got the Packs. Gotta love Aaron Rodgers, Mr. Jeopardy himself, out there just throwing dots, throwing rockets. Obviously not the way he wanted to start the season, but picking up where he left off and really, playing well these past few weeks. The Bucs, man, Mr. Brady, best QB in all of football. Dude still has it. It's crazy to see. It's crazy to see, but he still has it.
First in the league in passing yards, second in touchdowns. It's truly remarkable.
Yeah. You won't see a guy doing this for a very long time, man. Obviously, the passing yards leader, he's just balling out of control. And then the Cards, they made that leap, man. Just really knocking at the door. You add a few pieces. Kyler Murray seems to be playing at an MVP level. Last undefeated team in football. How could you not have them in the Super Bowl race? And the Rams, 49ers, Seahawks is all that division. They're going to beat each other up. I still got the Seahawks around with Russ being out until they really start, losing more games. I'm going to have to take them out. And then the Niners, I didn't think they'd have QB controversy this early on in the season, but it looks like Trey Lance is their guy, and they're going to need a rookie quarterback to really step up and play big, and that's a lot to ask for rookies. So we'll see. So I think the 49ers and Seahawks are on notice right now. Those are my NFC.
All right. My NFC, I'm taking the hatchet out. I do believe in the Packers, absolutely. I believe in the Buccaneers, absolutely. I believe in the Cardinals and Rams. The 49ers have lost 3 in a row. They have a quarterback that's hurt. I don't trust Trey Lance to win a Super Bowl right now. It's a nice roster. It's a nice team. They're done for me. Russell Wilson's about to miss a month and change. The Seahawks are toast for me. As I look at the Seahawks schedule, they're at the Steelers this Sunday. Then they play the Saints. They've got the Jaguars, which is a game they can certainly win. And they've got the bye week. And maybe Russ comes back after that. But if he does, they're headed to Lambeau to play the Packers. And then they've got the Cardinals after that. Then they're at Washington. It's just too much for me with the way that Arizona's playing and what I think of the Rams. Those two teams, if we're talking about Super Bowl winners, are out of it for me. So I'm down now in the NFC to just 4 teams: Packers, Bucks, Cardinals, and Rams. That's all I got.
Ooh, that's a tight one, man. No Cowboys. That's gonna be a.
Well, they had the Cowboys to start. That's the issue.
Yep. Put us on
I'll say
the 8
this:
ball with that one.
We to start the season made our NFC pick, AFC pick, Super Bowl pick, and they look really good at this point. Like I took the Packers, who after a rough start have played pretty well, and I think are the class of that division pretty significantly. And then you took the Rams, who have been excellent thus far. So I think those are good picks from the NFC. The AFC, I had Buffalo. They've really turned it on and look like they may be the best team in the league at this point. And you had
the Browns.
The Browns too.
Okay. Up and down. Yeah. But I think when we get the juice is loose back. I think that's Baker just has a way better rapport with Jarvis for whatever reason. Just can't seem to really hook up with Odell consistently enough. So I think when you get Jarvis back and Chubb and Hunt are really just running down your throats, I think that's going to help that team out a ton. And we got to get Clowney going. Myles Garrett's got to be Myles Garrett, but if we can get Clowney going, that defense can really take that step up. I got the Bills, of course, the hottest team in football. Allen back where he left off, just MVP level, just balling out of control. Got Tyron holding his hands up like Kanye's just – you don't know what's going on out here. It's just a lot going on that Josh Allen is doing to people. So got to respect that. Got Baltimore. Big Trust, man. Big Trust is playing unbelievable football right now. He beat Mahomes earlier this year. He couldn't do that. He knocked that off his list, so I know that's going to give him a ton of confidence. But it seems like everyone's doing that, so I don't know how impressive that really is. And then I think you got Herbert, man. He's right there with Allen and Brady and all those guys. He to me, he's in the top 5. I don't care how you get him in there, but Justin Herbert right now is a top 5 quarterback in this league. And I want to take him out, but they still got Michael Jordan at quarterback. So I'm gonna be so relax a little bit here, but they're on thin ice right now. The Chiefs are on thin ice.
Their defense stinks. And for Buffalo to do what they did to Kansas City was, again, impressive. Since that clunker in week 1, they have just been off to the races. So I've got the Bills as well. Still have the Ravens in there. They think they are right now probably the best team in that division. I still got Cleveland in. I believe Baker's good enough to do it. And I think that roster around them, as you mentioned, is good enough as well. I'm not quitting on the Chiefs either. That's too good an offense. If they can find something on defense, they've got some talent on defense. But they invested so much money in that offensive line. Mahomes is not going to turn the ball over at the clip he was early in the season, I don't think. Still got Andy Reid. Still got a great offensive coordinator in Bieniemy. I like the Chiefs still, and then of course the Chargers. So, and for me, I'm down to that's 4 teams in the NFC and 5 teams in the AFC. I'm down to 9 squads so far that can win the Super Bowl. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in the NFC. Is that 6? That's 6 in the NFC, and so you got 11.
Yeah, I think mine's got to cut down next year. I need these teams to just give me too much, so I can't handle anymore. They need to get the road.
You got to get a little quicker on the trigger with some of these teams.
Dude, the Saints scared me, so I felt really good about not having them on after week 2. And then I felt like, no, I need to put them back. So some of these teams are like, you got to just relax a little bit. With
the Cowboys is all we're missing. They're a problem. Dak's plenty good enough to win a Super Bowl. Do I trust that organization when it gets to crunch time? No, not over the last 20, 25 years, I don't. But that's a story for a different day. So if I let you go back, I'm not, but if I let you go back and repick your Super Bowl teams, who would they be?
If you let me go back, like who I feel the greatest and the most
now,
hottest
now
about.
You've got 5 weeks of information, so you can pick an NFC, an AFC, and a Super Bowl champion. Who would you pick?
This is going to shock you, but I'm going to go Chargers, AFC, and I'm going to keep my NFC pick. I'm going to go Rams, NFC.
I would probably take the Bills still out of the AFC and leave that there. I can't pull the trigger on the Packers over the Bucs. I could try, but I think I would go back. I think I would probably go back to Tampa, or just I was trying to be a little bit different. And the Packers are still good. I don't think that's out of the question that they could do it. But if I was able to redo it, and I had the Bills winning the Super Bowl, I've still got the Bills winning the Super Bowl. They are nasty, and look, they deserve it. That would be so cool if they did. That's a fan base that was. I mean, you cannot imagine getting there 4 times and not getting it done. And that you live in Buffalo. I mean, it's pretty miserable there for like 6 months out of the year.
You're gonna need some ambulances if they make it to the Super Bowl. It's gonna be some people flying from all type of places if they make it to the Super Bowl. So yeah, get the ambulances ready.
Let's take a timeout. Wrap up hour number 1 with a little LSU Florida talk at Hunting Hill.
104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge with Hunt and Hill. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are now open for business and are ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing off I-10 in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crews at Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are going to do right by you.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you're born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week. And also at patientplusuc.com, you can sign up for your appointment on the way to the clinic. That's Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic. Get in and get better.
If home is where the heart is, a roof is a shield. That's why for over 25 years...
Join us for a Thursday edition of Early Line as we preview the Thursday night football slate in both college and the pros, and we make our underdog picks ahead of the football weekend. Early Line, 2 to 3 p.m., 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Throwback Thursday presented by AccuTemp coming up in about 13 minutes, closing up hour number 1 here on a Thursday. Jeremy, I can't overemphasize how important the first 10 minutes of the football game are for LSU on Saturday. Just don't know if this locker room right now is in a place where it can recover from 14-0, 10-0 down. I think something good needs to happen early on, either side of the ball, to maybe get a little spark in the fan base and get the guys something to feel good about. Obviously, that goes without saying. It's better to start 10-0 up than 10-0 down. Yeah. But look, I mean, I can look back. I mean, just this game just popped into my head. I didn't even think about this pre-show, but I mean, look back at the 2011 team, and Arkansas comes in there, and they go down and score a touchdown, and then poof, you fumble a ball, and they pick it up and run it in for a touchdown. All of a sudden, bang, it's 14-0. That team didn't flinch. I mean, now Tyron had to run a kickback 90 yards, and that helps. But they just wore them out and ran them over in the second half. Obviously, this team is not the 2011 team. I'm not trying to draw comparisons, but I'm saying this team, with the state of the locker room, the state of the injuries, the young guys on the field, they need something good to happen early.
Yeah, you definitely do. And you feel it. You feel it in town. You feel it in Baton Rouge. You lose 2 games. It's just those demons, those whispers. You start to feel it, and especially when teams start bad. We talk about it in the NFL. We talk about it in college. When a team's on the ropes and they're playing bad and they're stringing bad performance after bad performance, and they start fast in a game, man, it's time. You got to put your foot on their necks, and that's exactly what Florida's probably talking about right now. They're preaching how important it is for them to start fast as a football team and put LSU in a position where you start feeling those demons coming in. You start, thinking, man, are we going to lose 3 in a row? And you start seeing guys like, man, is it really worth it at this point? And you start asking yourself those questions. So I think the best way to avoid that is, like you say, you got to start fast. You got to start doing things that make you feel good about yourself start having fun out there on the field. It looked like we had zero fun last week.
Yeah.
That was just not a fun game to be a part of. So when you start fast, you make some plays, you have some fun, you can start feeling good about yourself, man. That's when you see you can start upsetting teams.
Based on his press availability, some of the things he said, I don't think it's a massive story, but I have a little bit of interest in Max's frustration level. I didn't use the word concern there for a reason, but I think he's saying things like, God, this sucks. And yeah, it sucks. I mean, like to lose football games and to struggle to move the football. And any competitor would feel that way, but bold over enough for him to say something about it in the media. He's a guy who's from a football family. He understands that the media's going to be there. It's just part of the deal. But do you sense that Max is a little frustrated?
Oh, yeah. And I think it starts with the quarterback. No, your team is playing sensational. Your team is playing phenomenal. Quarterback's got to get a ton of that credit. Rather he's playing well. Sometimes he may not be as playing well as you think, but you start winning games, the quarterback gets going to get a ton of praise, and it just goes vice versa, man. You start losing, you start looking to the quarterback, and then if the quarterback isn't playing well, then you start looking at other things, and then that's what the entire operation starts to fail and starts to go wrong, because now it's like people are starting to point fingers at each other. There's no accountability. You see kind of Max kind of, not giving the SPC answers as you would think after a game, especially with the operation and how plays are getting called and getting in. So those are things that you would love to have nipped in the bud by this point and not have to be dealing with. But Max is definitely probably feeling a little frustration at this point.
If you're Jake Peets, what's objective number one early in this game? Get a run game going, get Max comfortable. What is the first thing on your checklist?
I think I said it. I think what's one thing I wish, just get a smooth looking operation. Just look like you know what you're doing out there. Look like you've been doing this a long time. I know it's your first year, but just have an offense that goes out there and runs efficiently and that can have rhythm. I think that's kind of what you don't see from this team, especially even after a big first down. We're getting to the line. We're trying to check plays. We're running stuff at the last second. Guys are false starting. You're getting procedure penalties. Your Coach O's having to look at the clock and wonder if he's calling timeout. I think just getting some rhythm, getting guys making plays, just getting some more swag to you. I think just starting there will help this offense a ton.
We have a Keys to the Game segment every week on the pregame show, and Garrett Brumfield's the last 2 weeks as an offensive lineman, as somebody who's watching this, said pre-snap mechanics. It's getting the play in, getting everybody where they're supposed to be, setting protection, and then getting the thing moving. Everything that happens before the snap. And then you go right back to that. Again, it seems very obvious that people that have been out there, have watched this, understand what they're looking at, think that things are not moving as efficiently as they should before the ball snapped.
Yeah, I think it's just simple life stuff. You got to crawl before you walk. And to me, this offense isn't going to be walking or running anywhere. If you can't get plays in, you can't get first down, you can't extend drives. And so for me, I think that's just you got to start there. You got to start with the basics. I know you want to be, running trick plays and, scheming people up and getting big, long touchdowns and things of that nature. But when you're not, running at the level that you should be for a Division I program, it's just a bad sight to see, and it's what you don't want to see. So I think for Max, that's where you see the frustration coming in. He wants to get the plays in. He wants to have success. He wants to get the ball to his guys, and that just hasn't been happening consistently enough for this offense.
The media loves to talk about the first drive or the first 15 plays being scripted.
Mm-hmm.
In your experience, is that how it works? And clearly, you don't just write 15 plays down and run them in order. So if it's,
oh yeah, you do.
If it's 4th and 1 and you've got 4 verts called, I don't think you're going to go to that.
Yeah, I mean, you rarely get off that first 15. They want to get called in the exact order that it's going. You go over those exact 15 plays. You walk through them the night before the game. You walk through them before the game. And it's been like that for me on every level that I played at, in all different coordinators. You want to run those exact same 15 plays. So I know that's been something with Pete's. We get our first 15 off, and people say it kind of looks lost, and the offense really isn't moving the way it should be moving. And that could be said in certain occasions, but I also just think Max has missed some throws. We've missed some blocks. There's been some free rushers. And it's like what can go wrong, will go wrong with this offense. So I think for them, just running it efficiently, getting plays in and out, getting some confidence, getting guys knowing, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. It'll allow guys to really start playing faster and making more plays.
That's the hope. They just, again, to reiterate what I started this segment with, they've got to get off to a quick start in this game. the odds are stacked against you in terms of injuries, talent level to this point. That's the reason why you're a double-digit dog at home. Again, you cannot get behind the chains, get an early turnover like they did against Kentucky. They got to go down and get some points. And Kayshawn's been the guy to do that. Starkville, Auburn, he's been the guy. I mean, they hit him for the 55-yarder against Auburn. He scores early against Mississippi State, big play. That's been your guy. You've got to look somewhere else now. You got to find somebody else to do it, whether that's trying to get the running game going again if you think you can do it, or finding one of these young receivers to step up and make a play. Somebody's got to do something positive on LSU's first couple drives.
Yeah, you see really quick and early on why Mel Kiper and some of the guys at ESPN feel like, Kayshawn Butte is going to be a top 5 pick, top 5 on the big board already for the 2023 class, and he's shown that all year. He showed that his freshman year. He's shown that all this year. He's just a sensational player, and you lose that guy. It's a big hole you got to miss, but if there's any position, it's probably a receiver. So I think if I had to point to a guy, I think Malik's going to step up and take that role and get the snaps, and I think Max is going to feed him. So hopefully those two can start hooking up like Kayshawn and them did.
Hour 1 in the books. When we come back in hour number 2, it is a Throwback Thursday presented by AccuTemp. We'll look back at one of the best games in the LSU Florida series on Hunting Hill.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
You guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 365. Give us a call, 225-925-8552.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Hand injury lawyers. Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hour number 2 on a Thursday. It means it's a Throwback Thursday presented by AccuTemp. Get your phones out, folks. We appreciate AccuTemp for bringing this to us, so they're bringing stuff to you as well. AccuTemp is getting your home ready for the winter by offering a $59 heater system check. It's about to cool off around here. That's a sight for sore eyes. And they'll help you get your heater ready to go for just $59. Text HEATER, HEATER, to 31996. Again, that's 31996. And prevent outages this winter by getting your heater checked today. Again, text HEATER to 31996. AccuTemp, service to the highest degree. Let's throw it in the Wayback Machine.
Throwback Thursday, presented by AccuTemp, your AC and electrical experts.
Has to roll back to the near side, and he's going to throw it. Oh, it's going to be caught! Caught! Touchdown! Holy cow!
Hunt and Hill's Throwback Thursday.
All right, let's do it. Jared Nardo had brought back the magic to LSU in 1995. He posted a 10-win season in 1996, and that culminated with a Peach Bowl victory. Returning in 1997 were upperclassmen standouts like Kevin Falk, Alan Faneca, Booger McFarland. The Tigers entered the 1997 season ranked 10th in the country and moved to 2-0 with Auburn coming to Baton Rouge. In that game, LSU tried a 64-yard field goal in the final play, and it was blocked. Auburn clipped the homestanding Tigers 31-28 behind Damian Craig on a night where Cecil Collins had run for 232 yards and 2 touchdowns. The next week, LSU took its frustrations out on Akron, and the Tigers went to Nashville and escaped barely with a 7-6 win over a hapless Vanderbilt team that thankfully missed an extra point. That 7-point offensive output couldn't inspire much confidence, understanding what awaited when LSU returned to Baton Rouge. Steve Spurrier owned LSU. To be fair, he owned a lot of teams, but LSU was most certainly one of them. As of October 1997, Florida had beaten LSU 9 straight times. The last 7 of those were Spurrier's doing. The combined score of those 7, Florida 262, LSU 73. In 1990, it was 34-8. 93 was 58-3. 1994, 42-18. And just a year prior, in 1996, 56-13. The Gators were a powerhouse. They were the class of the SEC and the defending national champions of college football. They had won 17 out of 18 games and entered Baton Rouge 5-0, ranked number 1 in the nation, having outscored opponents 247-67. If that sounds like a lot, it is. It's an average of 49 points per game on offense. It was Doug Johnson, Fred Taylor, Jaquez Green, Travis McGriff. Bob Stoops was on the other side running the defense. Florida was, at that very moment, the most frightening presence in all of college football. LSU was ranked 14th in the country. It was Saturday night in Death Valley, and the Gators were still a 16-point favorite in Baton Rouge. College game day showed up, and game day turned into Saturday night, and this is the story of the night the goalposts fell. Tiger Stadium was packed, buzzed, and it was ready. Spurrier led his Gators out of the south end zone tunnel, the visor perched atop its head.
The number 1 ranked team in the nation, the Florida Gators, come calling against the 14th ranked Tigers of LSU. This man, 25 straight Southeastern Conference wins. Who can slow down this juggernaut? Can it be the LSU Tigers tonight? The average margin of victory in those 25 straight wins, 27 points over their opponent. 4th down and 23.
Let's play some football. The teams traded punts on their first couple drives. LSU would receive the second of those punts, and thanks to a Kevin Falk return of 30 yards to the Florida 40-yard line, LSU was in position to strike first.
Frazier in motion. Tyler down the sideline. He will score. 40 yards.
It was Herb Tyler on the option, keeper down the near sideline. The Tigers quickly lead it 7-0. Florida sent its high-powered offense back out onto the field, and as would be the case most of the night, the Tiger defense made a huge play.
Number 8, Matisse Kareem comes in replacing him. Pass got away, and it's been intercepted. Cedric Donaldson. Donaldson, they need a block on Doug Johnson, and he could take it the distance. At the 15, and it's going to be tripped up on a great hustle play by one of the comeback receivers, I believe Harris Ruff. But 68 yards on the return by Donaldson.
Tiger fans spent all week thinking, man, do we really even have a chance this Saturday? Sure, most fans have hope, but when you've watched Florida do what it had done to LSU over the years, truly believing LSU could win the game had to be difficult. It was not difficult anymore after the next play.
Let's see if it pays off.
Tyler gives the ball up the middle. Touchdown, Tommy Banks.
Big Tommy Banks, full extension right up the middle, 14-0 good guys, 8 minutes into the game. You could sense that LSU would need that cushion. This Florida offense couldn't be bottled up for 4 quarters. Doug Johnson would pilot a 13-play, 80-yard drive as a response, a sign that Florida wasn't going anywhere, but also an example of how LSU would approach the game defensively. Short passes were okay, nothing deep for the fun and gun offense. 4th downs became the story for the rest of the first half. Spurrier got aggressive on Florida's next drive, 4th and 7 from the LSU 32-yard line. He sent his offense out there, and Johnson was sacked for a loss of 16 yards by Troy Twilley. Then LSU missed a 39-yard field goal on its next drive that would have made it 17-7. Florida drove it down on 16 more plays, but a 44-yard field goal was blocked by LSU. In the first half, Florida had run 38 plays and had just 7 points to show for it thanks to a fantastic game plan by the Tiger coaching staff. Coming out of halftime, the Gators finally hit a big play. On the first snap of the third quarter, Johnson hit Fred Taylor for a 53-yard pass that would set up the game-tying touchdown. It was a 1-yard plunge by Taylor. With 12 minutes to play in the third quarter, it was 14-all. LSU would take the football. Herb Tyler hit Larry Foster for 29 yards. Then a big face mask call put the ball at the 19-yard line. But LSU backed up, and Tyler was sacked on 3rd and 12 to set up a 44-yard field goal. That was blocked by Florida. So the Tiger defense went back out to face this supercharged offense, and again, they were up to the task. Mark Roman picked Johnson off at the goal line to thwart a scoring chance and reignite a crowd yearning for the tide to change. From the shadows of his own goalpost, Tyler hit Abram Booty for 20 yards to get some breathing room, and then he hit Abram Booty again for 51 more to put the ball at the Florida 28. A couple of Kevin Falk runs set up a 3rd down, and the Tigers couldn't convert, so Wade Ritchie came back out to try a 37-yarder to give LSU the lead. He missed it. Ritchie had tried 3 field goals from inside 45 yards and had been unsuccessful on all 3. The LSU defense got a massive 3-and-out though, and LSU took over on the last play of the third quarter. With 15 minutes on the clock, they had to shock the college football world. LSU's offense was still unable to break through. They punted back to Florida, so the defense said, "Hey, we'll take care of this one, boys."
There's the pressure, and the pass is picked off. That's Donaldson, and he will score.
Off came that Spurrier visor. Cedric Donaldson to the house. Tigers lead by 7. And the ensuing kickoff gave Death Valley another jolt.
Kickoff coming into the wind, and this is Bo Carroll. Comes back into the boundary and loses the ball. LSU has recovered at the 30.
Bo Carroll just flat dropped it. Sometimes when you're the lesser team, you just need a good break, and LSU got one right there as Florida coughed up the kickoff, and LSU pounced right on it in brilliant field position. 4 plays later, the Tiger lead swelled again.
Option play. Run it back into the boundary. Here's Tyler. He will score.
Herb Tyler untouched again into the south end zone. 28-14 Tigers, and number 1 was officially on the ropes with 11 minutes and 40 seconds to play. That said, everyone knew that Florida was the most equipped team in the country to score quickly. LSU would not allow that. Johnson did engineer an answering touchdown drive, but it took 13 plays to go 78 yards. LSU would go 3 and out to give the Florida back the ball with 4 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the game. The Gators had to go 79 yards to tie the score. 2 costly penalties set up 3rd and 22 for Florida back at their own 9-yard line, and LSU's defense had 1 more bullet left in the holster.
Johnson goes long, and it is intercepted by LSU. Rayon Hill.
Florida's 5th turnover of the night was the death knell. LSU ran the clock out, and as the clock expired, the fans poured onto the field at Tiger Stadium, and for the first time ever, the H-style goalposts came down. They were destined for a trip into the Mississippi River. LSU had defeated the number 1 team and a giant in college football, the Florida Gators, and that is this week's Throwback Thursday, the LSU victory over Florida in 1997.
Man, what a game. What a game, man. I think that's when they started warning fans, watch your head from these goalposts, because they were pulling those things down at a rapid rate, and just an electric night in Death Valley. I was still a little too young to remember that one myself, but I've seen a ton of highlights. I've seen the pictures of Falk in that game, and just a phenomenal night to be a Tiger fan.
The most important thing to remember when you think about that game and that environment was that Florida was just Goliath. I mean, they had gotten smoked by Nebraska a couple of years prior, but they had figured it out since then, and they were just beating people senseless. I mean, they owned Tennessee, they owned the SEC, and this offense was just unstoppable. They would plug in a new quarterback and new core of wide receivers, and they just keep scoring 50 on everyone. And for LSU that night to be able to force the 5 turnovers and to keep Florida to 21 points and make them go these huge, long drives. It took 13 plays, 17 plays, kept everything in front of them. And that's what they talked about in the postgame, is that was the plan. We knew that they were going to complete passes, but we hoped we could get some pressure, which they did, and make some plays in the football. And Cedric Donaldson had a couple of picks. Rayon Hill there at the end had the pick, and they had the huge one by Roman as well at the goal line. It was just one of those nights where the defense knew it had a huge challenge, and it just rose to that challenge.
Yeah, Spurrier, man. They were running those 90s like Jordan in the 90s. That's what Spurrier had at Florida, just total high-powered offenses, dominant teams that came into Baton Rouge and had their way with the Tigers. And that was a great night to say no way, not tonight. Just played an outstanding football game from the beginning to the end, and that's what got the rumblings in Baton Rouge. That's what kind of got people start feeling really good about this team and really feeling good about Death Valley and just what could happen in a situation like that.
I can still see Steve Spurrier chunking that visor when Johnson threw that interception. Jesse Palmer came in for a couple of drives, but as I rewatched the game and looked at the play chart, it wasn't that big an issue. They went back to Johnson there at the end, and LSU made the play to win the game. Truly one of the most magical nights in the history of Tiger Stadium. We've had some since then, but at that point, it was that one, and then you go back to the earthquake game. Those were the most electric nights. Back to Billy Cannon's run, where a lot of people weren't able to be there for Billy Cannon's run and there at the end in 97. But man, what a night in Tiger Stadium. We appreciate AccuTemp for bringing you Throwback Thursday every single week. AC, electrical, plumbing, AccuTemp. They give you service to the highest degree. Go to AccuTempBR.com and support those guys who support us every single week doing a Throwback Thursday. All right, let's take a timeout. Come back with someone who was on the field that night when the goalpost came down.
Serving up the latest from the sports world. It's Hunt and Hill. we opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli?
I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
During these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my four boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Thursday's AFR, presented by the Aesthetic Medicine and Anti-Aging Clinics of Louisiana. Ryan Clark in studio. We'll have our Fantasy Blitz. We'll talk Saints with Mike Triplett. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Throwback Thursday presented by AccuTemp. The night the goalpost fell, LSU dropped #1 Florida in Tiger Stadium back in 1997. The Tigers starting quarterback that night, who scored a couple of touchdowns, Herb Tyler, and Herb joins us now. Herb, how are you? Thanks so much for some time.
What's up, fellas, man? Good, man. I'm doing well. I appreciate you guys having me on. Thank you.
Absolutely. It is our pleasure. Let's go back and talk about that game. Obviously, one of the things I mentioned in the last segment was that the week before, y'all had gone up to Nashville and beaten Vanderbilt 7-6, and Cecil Collins suffered a career-ending injury in that game. I'm imagining with Steve Spurrier coming in, having scored over 50 on y'all the year before that, they realizing coming off a 7-point outing against Vanderbilt and one of your best players go down was not the most comforting feeling in the world. Do you remember what things felt like that week?
Well, I'd say this. When you have a running back of Cecil Collins' caliber, it's definitely a blow. But when you can turn around and you got Kevin Falk and Rondell Mealy and Kendall Cleveland back there, it's like, I think we're going to be all right, So losing Cecil was definitely a blow. However, going into that week, for whatever reason, I think Coach Donato kind of backed up off of us a little bit, meaning prior to that week, we would be at 32, 34 periods throughout the practice, which was very, very difficult to get through in, South Louisiana, if you will. So that week, I think we ended up going like 26 to 28 periods, which was probably a 20 to 30 minute lesser time frame as far as practice is concerned. So we were able to get our legs back. We were energized. We were excited about not having to practice for 3.5 and only practicing for 3 hours. So it was pretty good. So going into that week, we had a really light, airy feeling about each other and what we were planning to accomplish going into that week. Now, also, too, with the defense, they were doing something a little bit different, which was interesting to us. They were utilizing a lot of the reserve guys and what we called at the time the Chinese Bandit or whatever. That's what our defensive coordinator called it. And so that was interesting. We wanted to see how that would play out as well.
Put into words what Florida was at that time in college football and in the SEC.
One word, a juggernaut, right? That's what a lot of people like to use, that type of word. They were definitely the biggest, baddest dudes on the block at that point. When I go back and think about it, in '96 we played those guys, and they were like a NFL team that we were playing against. It was amazing to see the talent that they had and what they were all about. Man, it was awesome, and I was just happy that Ike Hilliard and Danny Wofford had left, and some other guys that they had. But Florida was definitely the pinnacle, the top of the SEC for sure at the time. And even in college football, they were top 3 every year. So they were really good. And Steve Spurrier is one of the best coaches ever.
I know you said Cecil Collins missed that game. Talk about the speed option relationship you had with Kevin Falk in that game, being that, he probably wasn't the starter. You guys seem to really run that play at a high clip, and you seem to be able to read that very well.
Yeah, so that was one of our special plays that Coach so that play actually is an audible play for us, right? So sometimes Coach would call it when we're closer into the in the red zone area. It would be a call play for the most part, and I can go to whichever side. I just audible to whichever side. But when you're in the field, like I think one of the first couple of plays of that game, I think we ran what we call a 29 option or whatnot, which was option to the left side, speed option to the left. But the actual play was a BAP, a belly or power play. I could run either a belly play one way or a power play the opposite way. But if they ever came up in what we call the bear defense, then I can check out of that stuff and then go into those option plays, which would put me on the edge of the line of scrimmage with a defensive end or a linebacker, whoever was on the edge of the line of scrimmage, and then Kevin and I one-on-one with that guy. And so Kevin always kept his pitch relationship. He was always really great to pitch to because he would always catch the pitch. Most of the time I tried not to pitch because I wanted to show my running skills a little bit, and so it was always a little joke in the backfield between Kevin and I. It's like, who's playing quarterback or running back today whenever running an option, right? So it's pretty cool, though. But that was always one of the most fun plays that I enjoyed running because I ran that a lot in high school, and then being able to do it again in college was pretty fun.
Tommy Banks scores a touchdown on that belly play. Was that an option, or was that just a straight give to him? Do you remember?
That's a straight give to the fullback. So we never had an actual quote unquote triple option, if you will, where you kind of read the defensive end and you put the ball in the belly of the fullback, and then you either give, pull, or pitch, whichever one it would be. We never had that, but that play that Tommy Banks was in our arsenal all the time. It was a fullback. It's called a fullback belly. So it's a reverse pivot by myself, hand it off to him, and he's out. Bam, he's gone right up the middle. So Tommy Banks is one of the most skilled fullbacks with running the football as well as catching the ball out of the backfield as I've ever seen in my entire life. And he showed out that night, and that dive into the end zone was pretty athletic of him. That was pretty awesome.
Talk about the end of that game. You guys decided not to kneel it, but do quarterback sneaks instead. Talk about that, and then talk about the atmosphere with the fans coming on the field and tearing down the goalposts.
So, look, with the quarterback sneak, right, everybody thinks that, Tom Brady and Drew Brees are like the best quarterback sneak guys in the and I put myself up there with those guys only when it comes to quarterback sneaks. That's it, nothing else, all right? But I was running quarterback sneaks for like 80-yard touchdowns back in junior highs, right? So, and I always did it. And Coach, I have a knack for it, right? It's not just taking the ball and just moving forward. It's seeing how the defensive line is playing, that kind of stuff. So Coach knows that. So, and he knows I'm not going to fumble the ball in that situation. So I will be able to get a couple of yardage as well as keep the clock going, that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. It's fun for me, so I enjoy that. Now, as far as the atmosphere is concerned, there was no greater feeling than watching the fans' jubilations and running out of the stadium or out of their seats like that onto the football field. It was awesome and scary all at the same time. So, but it was one of the best feelings. I've probably never, ever felt that feeling ever again since that. And it's just been a wonderful – it was one of those things that you'll never forget. It'll stick in your mind all the time. Kevin and I were literally trying to find each other in the middle of something because we had to go do an interview with Adrian Carson, but we couldn't get there. Some armbands were taken, a couple helmets were taken, all kind of stuff. So it was pretty cool. It was wild, but it was all great to see the fans be able to share and join in the excitement and the fun and the jubilation that we had about winning that game.
Chatting with Herb Tyler, LSU starting quarterback in 1997 when LSU knocked off the Florida Gators. Alan Faneca just went into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Was there something you could see from him that led you to believe that he would be, I'm not asking to say he's going to go to the Hall of Fame, but be an exceptional pro?
Well, of course, if I could have saw that back in the days, I would go ahead and buy me some Powerball tickets right now, right? But look, I'm going to tell you, so I've been knowing Alan since elementary school. So Alan and I went to Alice Hart together, and then he went on to John Curtis, then he went to Texas, and he came back to LSU. So I've been knowing him for quite some time now. I did not know he was who he was when he was at LSU, and I first saw him there. And I realized, wait, this same Alan that was, we were in third grade together. Like, yeah, that's him. He was 6'4", 6'5", athletic as all outdoors, strong as can be. Then we get on the field, he's smart as a whip, and he could literally just make any block that you want, pass block, run block, whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. Open his hips, get outside on the, in front of me on the option play, all kind of different things he can do. So we knew he was special. We did not know he was Hall of Fame special. Now, we knew he was very, very special. So, but I am so happy and excited for him and his family. His well-deserved, end of his career, being able to be selected to the NFL Hall of Fame. He's done everything right. He's a wonderful family man, great person, great friend, and, of course, a great offensive guard in the NFL, college, and everywhere else he's played.
So I got to ask you, Herb, love your playing style, dual threat quarterback. So if you had to pick Death Valley for the game, you rushing one in from 30 on your legs, or you throwing a touchdown pass from 30 in with your arm?
So I'll be greedy, and I say I'd like to do both of them, right? But look, at the end of the day, whatever it takes to help our team win, that's the only thing that matters. Now, it's always fun when you actually have the ball in your hands and you're running, you're making guys miss, and you're showing your speed and your agility and things like that. But it's also very fun when you're sitting back in the pocket, you're reading defenses, and you can make the right read within 2 or 3 seconds, put the ball spot on where it needs to be, and your guy can go up, catch it, and score a touchdown. That's also fun. So if I had to choose one, I would choose to run it in.
Herb, we've really enjoyed this. Appreciate so much your time, and all the best to you.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I appreciate it, and go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Herb Tyler, former Tiger quarterback and the signal caller the night that LSU beat #1 Florida in 1997. That is our Throwback Thursday presented by Accutim. Again, I want to tell you about the deal that they've got going on right now. Get your phones out so you can put this in. You're going to save a bunch of money and get a great service at the same time. Accutim is getting your home ready for winter by offering a $59 heater system check. Text HEATER, HEATER, to 31996. Prevent outages this winter by getting your heater checked today. Text HEATER to 31996. AccuTemp service to the highest degree, being your Throwback Thursday every single week on Thursday to start the second hour. We'll take a timeout, come back. I want to know what game set the hook for you as an LSU fan. That's mine, and I'll tell you my personal story about that game. That's next on Hunt and Hill.
Hunt Palmer, Jeremy Hill, Hunt and Hill. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Our topic today is about savings. What is savings?
Hancock Whitney isn't just a bank for our clients. We're investing in our hometowns, making life better for everyone. So keep dreaming. We've got your back.
Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are now open for business and are ready to serve our customers with disaster relief employee pricing off I-10 in LaPlace. If you need sales, service, or fleet, the crews at Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram are going to do right by you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To the heroes who are working tirelessly to care for our communities, we thank you. We will never forget the countless hours you dedicated on the front lines, choosing to risk your own health to fight for our friends, neighbors, and family members.
I mean, you guys are out on the front lines fighting it.
We are grateful for your heroic acts and unwavering spirit. Together, we are overcoming this adversity and make our state healthier and more vibrant again. Auctioner Health.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Starting in 1974, Central Plumbing has served Baton Rouge and surrounding areas for all of their plumbing needs. Through these tough and trying times, we want you to remember that the Payne family is here to continue to support and serve you. As a multi-generational business, there is no job that is too big or too small. Residential, commercial, industrial, hospitality, we're here for anything you need. 24/7, 360.
It's week 7 in the prep football season, and we get you started Friday night with Louisiana Prep Preview presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. And then starting at 10 o'clock, it's a full 2 hours of the Lake Urgent Care Lake After Hours Louisiana Prep Scoreboard Show on YouTube, CST, and 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Throwback Thursday featuring LSU in Florida, 1997. I want to tell a personal story about this that I think everyone can relate to. I grew up in Shreveport, son of two people that went to LSU and of a dad who was very, very passionate LSU fan. And so, yeah, I went to the 1995 Independence Bowl as a 7-year-old and knew that Eddie Kennison was out there and that we wanted LSU to win that game against Michigan State. But I was, my grandparents came and picked me up at halftime so my parents could go out after the game and be with their friends. In 1996, Warren Morris hits the home run, and I realized that's a good thing. I'm pulling for LSU. I want them to win that game, but certainly couldn't named a bunch of people on that team. In 1997, I was 9 years old, and I remember this as clear as possible. This entire week, I had a soccer game scheduled that Saturday in Shreveport, obviously. And my dad came down once a year to play in a golf tournament and go to the LSU game that corresponded. And that particular year, in 1997, it was the LSU-Florida game. And he looked at me on Monday and he said, do you want to play in your soccer game or do you want to come down to Baton Rouge and go to the LSU game? And he added this little caveat. He said, we're probably going to get killed. And so I'm, a 9-year-old kid, an 8-year-old kid, and I go, I want to go to the LSU game. You kidding me? Yeah, let me go. So he got me a ticket with him, and my mom didn't come to the game, and we went and sat in the south end zone just under the overhang. That obviously that upper wasn't there, but just kind of where the Florida fans sit. And I remember we were literally under the overhang. And that night, it was magic for everybody, but it was especially magic to me at that age. Every single touchdown that LSU scored was in that end zone. Tommy Banks and Herb Tyler's two and Cedric Donaldson all came into the south end zone. And I distinctly remember soaking all of that up. And I remember the crowd rushing the field. Of course, I didn't at that age with my dad, and I remember running down the ramps, leaving the stadium and jumping up and slapping the concrete pillars in Tiger Stadium. And from that day on, the hook was set. and we're looking at this thing, that's 24 years later, and I'm still that kid. I still care that much, and I still invest now more so time than I ever did, worried about LSU football and basketball and baseball. That's the game that you can point to and go, that is the one that made me the way that I am. And I think everyone has that moment, no matter what your age is or no matter what the game is. It doesn't have to be beating the number one team in the country. It could just be anything that set that hook. So I'll go to the Bayou Ford chat and fire this in there. What were the games that set the hook on you as an LSU fan forever? Do you have one that you can remember as a young kid that went, man, that's something that I'm going to care about?
Oh, yeah. I definitely remember because starting out, I started playing football when I was 8 years old. And I was the biggest University of Miami Hurricane fan.
Mm-hmm.
You couldn't get me to stop loving the U. Just throw it in my brother's face.
Surprise. The Yankee Laker fan loved Miami.
Oh, yeah, baby. I was all about the U. And then I found out my cousin obviously played quarterback, Marcus, and started following the team. And then I just remember the Bluegrass Miracle like yesterday.
Yeah.
Just running around my house, sprinting around my house, just in disbelief, just in total shock, just wondering how the heck we won that game, and just really having that roller coaster of emotions. Like when you just see like 20 seconds on the clock, like, man, we're about to lose. Like, oh man, this is tough. And then you just a total switch in just a couple seconds. You just lose your mind. And ever since then, man, it's just been all about the Tigers for me.
EGOAT1 says, I was a Cajuns fan growing up, but senior year of high school in 99, I went to the LSU San Jose State game and was hooked. I went with some bandmates, and we got to go in and see the Golden Man from Tigerland. See, that's not beating the number one team in the country, but it's just experiencing something different for the first time and realizing that's definitely something that I want to be a part of. From that day on, I would go out in the front yard. We had between our house and the next door neighbor's house, there was a strip of land. We called it the strip in the neighborhood. It was like 9 feet wide, and it was like probably 65 yards long and led back to a little drainage area that the city owned. And we turned that into a little football field. It was 9 yards wide, 9 feet wide. So it was stupid, but we were little and we could do it. And if I didn't have friends, I would go out there by myself, and I would be LSU, and we played Florida every time. I was playing 1-on-0 football, running around, tossing the ball in the air, broadcasting the game. It was caught by Hunt Palmer, and then Jaquez Green was on the other team. David Johnson throwing interceptions. There were 2 trees in the front yard, and I used to hammer out a little place where I could stand the football up with my heel so I could kick field goals between the 2 trees. LSU was undefeated in my front yard. Never dropped the game to the Florida Gators, but it was always Steve Spurrier and the Florida Gators were the team that I was playing against when I was growing up.
Yeah, I definitely remember when I really started being passionate about the team. I think it was a Capital One ball. I think it may have been 04 or 05. They caught a Hail Mary on us or something to end that game, and I was just pissed off that whole day. I'm like, how the heck could we lose to Iowa? Like, what are we doing?
It's the last play of the Saban era, 2004.
Yeah, so I remember that, and that's when I knew I was just emotionally invested. Like, winning, I'm feeling good. I'm on top of the world. Lose a heartbreaker, I'm just going through it. So I definitely get what some of these fans are going through, especially this season. Just not what you want to see, but it's got to bleed the purple and gold. You got to love the squad. You got to keep supporting them, and maybe we turn this thing around.
Craig Raymond says, Hunt, it wasn't my first game, but the most memorable game was when LSU and Notre Dame played in the Independence Bowl in '97. Went on the field after, hopped on Rondell Mealy's back. He was the MVP of that game as a 7-year-old. And he went with me for a few yards. You can't even imagine this because you're a little bit younger than me and wouldn't have been, but the Independence Bowl was a really big deal back in '95. Now, in '97, it wasn't as big a deal. The fact that it was Notre Dame added a little bit to it. But in '95, it was a huge deal for LSU to be in the Independence Bowl. So that's absolutely one that would set the hook for people. Brian Burgess had always been an LSU fan. My dad took us to games when I was just a child. I guess one of the ones that's etched in my memory is the year LSU beat Archie 61-17 in 1970. See, you go back, it's a different era, different time. But there's just something about that first experience or that most memorable experience that makes you turn that switch and go, this is the ticket. This is what I've got to invest emotionally in. And I'm so glad it was, for me, it was LSU, thanks to my parents, and not somebody that never wins anything, which happens to a lot of people. We're a fortunate lot. Unfortunately, right now, things are not the best, and we understand that. But there were some dark times, and there are some really, really bright times that we get to enjoy that not everybody around the college football world gets to. So keep throwing your games that set the hook on you in the Bayou Ford chat. We'll get to some of those in the final segment when we close things out. And, of course, do some take it or leave it. It's Hunt and Hill on a Thursday.
This is Hunt and Hill on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
If you're in an accident, a car accident, a slip and fall where you're injured, you need to call an attorney. The defendant insurance company, it's their goal to close the case as quickly as possible and pay out the least amount of money as possible. That's why it's important to call an attorney and call the law office of O.C. Brown.
At the law office of O.C. Brown, we're a family-owned firm. We want to be your law firm for a lifetime.
It's no secret. The best oysters in Baton Rouge are at Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar. Enjoy mouth-watering South Louisiana flavor and oysters from all over the country. And don't forget our nightly drink specials. Jolie Pearl Oyster Bar, located in downtown Baton Rouge.
Eli's always been into grilling. It took us a while to see it, but the signs were there.
What are you doing, Eli? I knew grilling was my thing. I have been talking about it throughout my career.
Happy with the results?
I am. Got the new grill from barbecueguys.com. It performed great.
My advice, as I always told my boys,
do more of what you were born to do.
Barbecue Guys, for those who were born to grill.
You want cheese on your burger, Pops?
I'll take a little cheese.
these challenging times, we know your healthcare needs don't stop. Cancer, accidents, injuries, and heart disease are relentless. So we are relentlessly innovating to keep you safe, both virtually and in person, connecting you with providers remotely, advancing clinical spaces, providing rapid and accurate testing, social distancing, and certified cleaning protocols. We are Auctioner, and we will not slow down. Auctioner Health, innovating healthcare.
Tonight, we invite you to celebrate life, wherever and whenever you can, understanding that time is never on our side. Instead, gather up your friends tonight and share a few stories and laughs over a good bottle of wine. Or maybe a family meal that gives everyone a chance to reconnect and remember what's really important, whether it's for a birthday, an anniversary, or simply to remind someone special that they are loved. Rafino's, where Louisiana comes to celebrate life.
Front to Back Boat Service has been family owned and operated for 30 years. And the Sherman family is NMEA certified. That's the National Marine Electronics Association at Front to Back. They are committed to improving the safety and technology of marine electronics through installer training, interface standards. And look, the fall and the winter, it's the perfect time to do that yearly maintenance you've been putting off. Get those parts you've been wanting. So schedule your appointment today at Front to Back, North Airway off of Airline Highway.
Yo, Jake here for Patient Plus Urgent Care Clinic, the place that's going to be convenient for you during an inconvenient time. Look, you hear me talk about my 4 boys all the time, and sometimes things like stitches, well, they happen. And in fact, they have. And Patient Plus is always taking care of us, just like they'll do the same for you. And now with 7 convenient locations across the Baton Rouge area, open from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m., 7 days a week, and also at patientplusuc.com.
On Fridays, Off the Bench, the boys are live from walk-ons, kicking off what promises to be a fun weekend of drinking and eating, if not football. And a brand new D-Generation Dome. Off the Bench, 7 to 10 a.m., 104.5 ESPN.
Hunt and Hill, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Preston Selassie in the Bayou Ford chat on the 104.5 YouTube channel says 2003 Georgia, college game day, hard hat and all, 10 years old. It's the one that set the hook on him. That's my favorite game ever, so I appreciate that. Jason says first game was that 82 Florida State game with the oranges flying. Gotta love that one as well. It's one that I can't quite recall, but certainly one that a lot of people talk about around here. Let's do a little bit of take it or leave it, Jay Hill. Amidst some turmoil in the organization with all the emails being released and the investigation into what the Washington football team has been doing, the team announced today that they'll retire Sean Taylor's jersey number on Sunday. Take or leave the timing of that announcement.
I'll leave that.
Yep.
You could have picked any other time to do this. It just seems like a little poor PR little scheme. You know, I've seen these teams work up all type of magic to, you know, look here, then got something going on over there, and that seems like exactly what this is. So terrible you got to bring Sean's name into this, but it's a good thing he is getting his number retired. Just a phenomenal player, just something very tragic happening to him. So, but it's just sucky that the football team is doing this.
I mean, yeah, it either looks like you're either, you know, PR move to make this the story as opposed to what's going on, or you just don't realize it and you're just not paying attention and doing something like that. Either way, it doesn't look very good.
All right, here we go. Okay, sports books have the NLDS Game 5 between the San Francisco Giants and the Los Angeles Dodgers as a toss-up. You taking or leaving Game 5 as a pick'em?
Well, let me see who's pitching, and I'll tell you.
Okay.
That's really I know Walker Buehler's not pitching, which is obviously
that's good news for Dodgers.
That's obviously a big deal. But I got to figure out who is pitching in this game, and that is not going to tell me. I mean, I think the Dodgers have a better lineup, but the Giants won't go away. Mm-hmm. Obviously, the game's going to be played up in San Francisco. I'm pulling for my guy KB for sure. So I'm pulling for the Giants to win the game. And it would be a heck of a story if they could do that and dethrone a team that seems to have an endless amount of payroll flexibility and is just trying to buy every player in the league. But Logan Webb's going for San Francisco. Corey Knebel, who's been a reliever for the Dodgers. So they're going to go a bullpen game. I'll take Logan Webb, who's been awesome. I will take the Giants to win the ball game tonight. Over under 7 there.
That's
Seems a little high. I would go under that.
I go 5. I feel good about 5. I just think it's going to be tough to score in this game 5. It's going to be – they're going to be coming to the mound every other batter at the plate. It's going to be a long one, but I just don't see it being that many runs scored.
I'll be tuned in. Derek Carr wants to open up an all 32-team correspondence to release emails from each team's front office. Are you taking or leaving every team releasing all their emails?
I'm leaving that. Derek, no. No, Derek. It's like the kid, like, oh, it's not fair.
A little tattletaling.
Yeah, it's like, it's not fair. He got it. Derek, no. Like, come on. It's just terrible that John got tied up in something that has nothing to do with the Raiders and nothing to do with the season, but no, it's just an unfortunate situation, and John got caught up in it. But we're not doing all 32 teams.
How many emails is that?
It has to be in the millions. I'm sure
it is in the millions. I don't want that job.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Goodness gracious.
Dan Hazes from NFL.com ranks the Saints as the 11th best team in the NFL for his weekly power rankings. You taking or leaving the Saints as the 11th best team in the league?
That's about right. I mean, they're a middle-of-the-pack team that's shown a high ceiling and shown a bit of a floor. But, yeah, I think that they're very much in the mix to be a playoff team, but very questionable in that venture. The schedule is difficult. But, yeah, I think that's about right to have them there. So I don't have anything major beef with that. Miami Dolphins QB Tua Tagovailoa returns to practice after injuring his ribs in Week 2. Taking the lead in Tua coming back in, changing the season around for the 1-4 Dolphins.
I'm gonna leave it. I don't know what it is about Tua. I mean, when you got an All-American crew, a Biletnikoff crew, a Heisman-winning crew tossing touchdowns too, I don't know how impressive that is, and I just haven't seen enough consistency for him at this next level. And being a smaller guy like he is, a guy who's probably 206 feet, there's going to be some big boys trying to hit him and put their weight on him for his whole career, and that's just not something that's not going to change. And you have the hip stuff, the rib stuff, and all the stuff he's accumulated just this early on. I don't know, man. I would love to cheer on a Bama guy. No, I'm kidding. But, I just don't see it for Tua, though.
Bama guy playing quarterback tonight, Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles hosting Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs are 7-point choice in that game, obviously playing excellent football. What do you see tonight in that one?
I see the Bucs handling business. Their Achilles heel has been the passing game. Their defensive passing game, just letting teams just throw the ball all over the yard on them. I don't think Hurts is that guy. He's not cut from that cloth. He can throw it a little bit, but he wants to use his legs, and they want to use those RPOs. So I got Tom and them handling business for sure.
Mr. Carr over in Vegas has been my fantasy quarterback for the first couple of weeks, which was really good, and then the last couple of weeks, which has been not good. So I had to make a little move. We picked up Jalen Hurts in a trade, and we're going to throw him out there in this game. He's been running around a little bit, scoring some points. I don't think they're going to win, but hopefully he scores a few points for the Eagles. Interesting spot for Cowboys fans who are going to be probably pulling for Philly in this game. If you're looking to try to get home field, you need the Eagles to go out there and win the football game. So here's where we're still getting to know each other a little bit. We're a couple months into this. Given one television screen and no ability to change the channel, would you be watching Dodgers-Giants in a playoff elimination game in the MLB, or would you be watching Bucs-Eagles in an NFL game here in Week 6 on a Thursday?
I'm watching Game 5. That's too much intensity, too much passion, man. If somebody's going home here, we got a full slate Saturday. We got a full slate Sunday. Let's watch Game 5. I'm watching Game 5.
It's been really awesome to watch. I mean, look, college football is great because we've got everybody in the fans, but that's not quite a playoff atmosphere in every. The stadiums have been on fire in the MLB playoffs. Fenway has been great. Dodger Stadium's been good. Atlanta was hopping. Milwaukee was even pretty good. It's been really awesome to watch playoff action with full crowds for the first time. Have we watched another that has had playoff action in anything? So the crowds have brought some energy, and I think tonight in San Fran is going to be hopping. They don't like the Dodgers very much, and that's it's a pretty big one.
Yeah, the thing I love about the baseball play, it seems just like so much intensity and so much like, I don't know if it's nervous energy, but every pitch, especially you get a full count going, you get some runners on base, you just feel it before the pitch goes to the plate every single time, especially in those playoff situations. So yeah, you definitely got to be feeling those that Game 5 intensity in the playoffs.
Cardinals just fired their manager Mike Schilt, which the Cubs were like next to last in the division. I can't really make fun of people, but that's kind of funny. Mike Schilt, you got fired. I don't care about anybody who works for the Cardinals. He's probably got a lot of money. The Cardinals, I don't like the Cardinals very much. And when bad things happen to them, I tend to go ahead and cheer. All right, it's Thursday over there at the facility for LSU. What's this practice look like? What do they need to get focused on? What are we talking about tomorrow?
Yeah, probably heavy red zone day. Get the red zone game plan, offense, defense in. just really fine-tune what you like, scrap some stuff that you don't like, make sure you have your corrections from Wednesday's practice, which is probably heavy first and second down run play stuff. You get that in, and then you take the pads off, and you go into Friday, loose and ready to go and walk through and getting ready for Saturday. So big day Thursday to get the red zone in, and I think that's a big part of what we got to start clinching and finding some touchdowns and some points in the red zone.
We're getting ready for Saturday. Jeremy Hill, Matt Moscona, Eagle 98.1 game day starts at 7 a.m. So if you're up and moving early, Jeremy and Matt with you at 7 o'clock in the morning. They'll hand it off to me and the LSU Sports Radio Network. We'll be on campus from 9 until 10:30. That's when we'll give broadcast team in the stadium the baton. They'll give you the call of the game. We're back 30 minutes after the game on the post-game report, taking your Twitter interaction, and then back on Eagle 98.1 game day post-game show, Charles Hanniger and Richard Condon. That's 90 minutes after the game goes final. So wall-to-wall coverage from 7 in the morning through the early evening over on Eagle 98.1, our sister station. We got a big football Friday coming for you tomorrow on this station. T-Bob and Jacob will be live from walk-ons tomorrow morning. Of course, Jimmy Yacht's game time be between them and us from 10 to noon. We're with you from noon to 2 on a football Friday, and then we'll give it to Early Line and Matt Moscona before high school football action live and local tonight. Matt's driving you home 3 to 6. Jimmy Yacht's game time from 6 to 8. We'll hand the baton now to the guys with Early Line. That is, of course, Mario and Musso, getting you ready for some baseball action as well as the football weekend to come. It's been a fun Thursday. Thanks to Accutent for the throwback. We'll see y'all Friday.